First, the government reports at least 141 people have been diagnosed with measles so far this year. 113 are directly linked to an outbreak that started at Disneyland in California.
The Centers for Disease Control recommends everyone be vaccinated, and that is where the controversy begins. Standing at your side, Stephanie Harris has been looking into what is an emotional issue for some parents.
Tom, Nicole, let's start with a few simple facts that nearly everyone can agree on. Fact: before the vaccine, between 400 and 500 people died from measles every year in the U.S. Fact: since the vaccine, measles cases have dropped 99%. Fact: vaccines can cause side effects and, in rare cases, death. Fact: the government has paid out nearly $3 billion to those injured by vaccines in the last 25 years. So, knowing all of this now, the question is, should the government be able to force families to vaccinate?
The indisputable rash of measles, the telltale sound of whooping cough. Diseases health experts thought were gone from the U.S. are making comebacks.
I've been informed that it was an adult woman who was unvaccinated who exposed my child at a facility that's for high-risk children.
Parents like Shanna Bresch, whose baby is too young to be immunized, are enraged that some parents choose not to vaccinate.
It's a personal choice.
The other side is just as passionate.
We vaccinated our newborn.
These Hampton Roads parents chose not to show their faces to protect their child.
Immediately following that, we noticed some changes in his physical and his appearance and his behavior. Pretty much right away.
They say after his measles, mumps, rubella, or MMR shot around 15 months, his face swelled and stayed that way for a few months. Doctors later diagnosed him with autism.
We never came to the full conclusion that it had to be the vaccines, but that to us was always a possibility.
So they decided to delay vaccinating their other two children until about age 8. And they are far from alone. Last school year, Virginia fell short of the government's 95% target rate for MMR vaccine, reporting 93% compliance among kindergartners. In that same year, the Virginia Department of Health reported 2 measles cases. In 2011, Virginia saw its highest number opting out of the shots. That year, 7 measles cases were reported. Not a shocking number.
It's not the shocking number, it's the fact that once you feel that you eradicated the disease and you're not doing surveillance for it, then every time it happens, it creates a sort of a crisis situation in the area where it does happen for public health.
Infectious disease expert Dr. Nancy Kadori fears the national trend of wealthier, more educated people opting out of shots for philosophical reasons. 20 states allow philosophical exemptions, which can be anything. A recent study cited fear of side effects, autism, and a belief that children get too many shots.
The fact is, the young parents who decide on whatever grounds not to immunize their children, number one, they forget that they are alive because they were immunized.
Virginia does not allow for philosophical exemptions, only religious. Last year, 446 Virginians signed religious exemption forms. The form does not require verification by clergy. Since the recent measles outbreak, legal threats have emerged. Congress held a hearing.
I like to start with the premise that every parent wants their child to be healthy and safe, and that's number one.
On social media, some suggest making it a crime for parents to opt out without medical or religious proof. But parents with vaccine concerns want their own proof.
Provide the data, a lot of data, because you're proving that something doesn't exist, and that's much more difficult than proving that something does exist.
What recent outbreaks prove do exist: measles, whooping cough, and other diseases we thought were eradicated. The problem, Dr. Kadori says, they are not gone, but forgotten.
It's hard for them to imagine these really serious illnesses because they haven't seen them.
Now, if you would like to read more of the numbers and studies in my report, I have put links to the information in this story on WAVY.com. And now we invite you to join the vaccine debate right now on our Facebook page and participate in our poll on WAVY.com. Stephanie Harris, 10 on your side.